Ayme, your soul has a solution. It's up to you. It's up to you to find your true nature of who you are. And it is up to you to create a spiritual awakening. Most people just believe it's like, oh, this is what life is. This is what we're supposed to do. But there's so much more to you. So much more to you. I've done a series of things as far as like helping people understand their energetic body. I've studied it for years about Reiki and, the reconnection, you name it. I wanted every modality to help people to achieve the success that they want. But do you notice that more and more people are like stuck in the emotions and the mental? And I remember those days and years where it would bother me so much that I had a good life. And yet I was very depressed, or, I don't even want to say sad. It was just, and then there was just the anxiety of having to go and do what everybody else does. And let's go to work, let's do this. And so it's like, I've traveled so much, but I've only gone to home and work. That's it. Well, it's through time and through age that you actually start to get your, hopefully, you get to the stage of where you get a little bit of wisdom. And one, stop caring what the outside world thinks. And if you're labeled with an issue, if you're labeled with an issue, do you know that you can help heal yourself? That was like the first thing. You can't heal yourself. We're taught immediately to go to the doctors, immediately go to the church, immediately, there's go do something. We want this sense of belonging. We want this sense of happiness, but how can you? How can you feel like you get this sense of happiness? And then it always feels like you're always chasing it. And again, we are this human being, but we're electromagnetic. So my determination was, I want to be happy. So I set my joy to happiness. And the world around me is that everybody was doing their thing, which is great, right? But there was so incoherent. If people knew what buttons to push. People knew, like, okay, if you wanted to get me to do something, then you just had to know what button to push. Do you know what I'm talking about as far as buttons? And to persuade you, and so that you give me what I want. And we seem to be in a world where we're controlled by others, and some people maliciously do it, and some people do it because they don't like what they see. And after a while, some people can get on each other's nerves, but it boils down to what hormones. And I'm not talking about just from your reproductive system. I'm talking about the chemical peptide that comes from when you have a feeling. And these feelings, they make you think. And if you are just going to be in your left brain, rational mind, then you're always going to try to find a conclusion by one answer. And that cuts out the whole quantum field of other answers. When you do your best to, I got to make sense of my world, it just is like, okay, I can make sense of my world. And so it's got to be this, or, oh, I'm sick. It's got to be this. It's got to be this. We're always geared to just finding one answer. And we're taught that we have to sometimes go outside ourselves to get those answers. And what kind of mindset and mood are you in? You can be in charge of those. There's nothing wrong with how you grow up. These hard roads, the sufferings, because you're hardwired for joy, but it also helps you build up this particular part in your brain that allows you to seek and to seek something other than what you know, which is your normalcy or your, depressed life or unhappy life. And everybody seems to have the secret, or they know the answer, and how's that working for them today, and what's going on. And it's like, well, what do you do? What do you do? And it's like, do I get annoyed because my hair is choosing to act so weird today? And do I have to focus on something that irritates me? So what do you do? Well, every day you need to choose you. Every day you need to put your oxygen mask on. And every day you keep having in your GPS joy. And any hardship comes up, you should begin to say, okay, how do I handle it? How was I taught to handle it? And is there another way? And yes, there is. There's definitely another way. And your soul will start seeking out, answers. But your everyday life, your everyday mind, your everyday program self, that 95% of yourself, is going to get in your own way. So you're going to get in your own way. So people say, get out of your own way. So, do you ever ask that question or heard somebody say that to you? And for years, it's like, get out of my own way. What are you talking about? Well, there are certain personalities that you need to decide if you want to keep being these personalities. Somebody pokes fun of it, so you get hurt, and so then you stay right where you are because you too afraid of going and doing something. However it is, the real you can find the answers, and it has a different type of mindset. And it boils down to what, hashtag, what, I don't have to believe my own BS, bullshit, and belief systems. And the question then becomes, where did I get them? Why did they can come to that conclusion? Do I have to follow that same route? No, you don't. You don't. So what route have you been following? Hi. I do. What route have you been following? There seems to be this, hey, I want to evolve, but don't want to do the work. It's like exercise. Ugh. So we have this aversion, maybe the pain of it all, or the like when you're going to lift weights and you're like, oh God, this is too hard. Because the body just is like, oh my God. So the type of exercise, well, I want to be something someday. So you go to start studying and then it overwhelms you and a program kicks in and you stop yourself. You can overcome the auto responses and the programs. Those need to be worked on more because you have to decide and make a decision. And a lot of people have to hit rock bottom. Well, what do you mean? Well, I enjoy my life. I want this donut. I want this. And then you're like, but I don't eat much. And then like, what type of food are you eating? And so sometimes to get you to see more, you have to have a certain amount of contrast or suffering to get there. Now, yesterday was this big dip of energy. I mean, it was like on this high. It was like I needed to hear 70s music, 1970s music. And then like, oh, okay, okay. And then all of a sudden it crashed, the energy. And I was looking for the remote. And I looked high and low. Well, it slipped inside, I sleep with a little hair bonnet so that my hair doesn't look like a rat's nest by morning. And anyway, it had slid right into my hat. So I tore apart the chair and then I got under and looked at everything and ripped off this and And I thought, oh, did it get stuck with the clothing? Did it? Yeah. So I noticed I was getting more and more frustrated. And I'm like, this energy was just, it was like for 2 hours straight, it got very, very intense. And I'm like, I really want this remote because I just wanted to sit and relax. It was been a long day. And then we found two. And the TV sets are exactly the same. So as but here's the weird part is that they're identical remotes. And so I'm sitting in one room and I turn it on. It turns the TV on way in the other room. Now, the sensors normally don't work that good. Okay, so I go and I swap them out, and it was like I was just out of alignment. Like, what the heck? And then I hooked up my computer so that I could watch a movie through my TV. And then it didn't matter. I tried several cords. And it says, and you plugged them in your HDMI, you plugged it in, and it says two. It shows me 3 and 4. But I plugged it in 2. So I took it out of that and put it in 3 and 4. And it didn't matter because as soon as I put it in 3, it says, oh, two's up. I'm like, talk about mixed signals. And the frequency and the vibration was just like so odd. Oh, I love the fact someone has devoted their life to their soul. Because when you do begin to wake up, you learn to love yourself and you learn to miss yourself when you go into a program. And yesterday it was just so grinding energy. But it was only for a couple hours and then it was gone. But it was enough to create a disturbance and make enough chemical peptides where it was just like, okay, I'm done. I'm done. Um, I said, okay, what can I use to heal? And it was like, no matter what I did, it was just a big gap where you just have to sit and observe. It was like, don't participate, don't do anything activity, just sit. Hi, just sit. Okay, so I sat down and rearranged my thinking and it got better. My husband oftentimes does that too. It's like, his guides come in and say, hey, that's not working for you, is it? No. Okay, go for a walk. And just the walking helps change the the way the brain functions. So it moves the energy and it helps you change those negative chemical peptides like depression and anger and frustration, and it helps clear your mind because you get to be with yourself. If you're not hearing headphones, stuff like this, but to be with yourself. And that's be with more of your heart, be more with your higher self. And it's a processing, and walking can be an awesome process. And then, so now his guides will just say, hey, Einstein, meaning Einstein says, you can't use the same brain that and the same thoughts, the same mindset that created the issue. So you have to go away, become something else. And when that changes, then the answers will appear because at this point we want one answer, yeah. But when we change that, I feel like somebody just tweaked my nose. Somebody changed that energy, then all of a sudden you can get more open to the quantum field of answers. And so I thought, what's going on? But the energy yesterday was like, no, you have to get stuck into, you got to get one answer. You got to get one answer and just be upset. And I'm like, oh my goodness. And so I sat there and I tried different healing tools. And it was just like, I had to just be able to sit into the experience to, I really could appreciate that sometimes suffering becomes a choice. I do not want it. And when you do, and you're sitting there, sometimes you can change your mindset instead of being hyper focused, which allows you to have more than one answer. But most people are not trained to use their awareness. And that's where we need to begin, is to understand that the awareness isn't about pointing fingers and having revenge. That's 3D. That's just so old school. It's not all about competition, conflict, and comparison. It's so much more than that. And so the healing tools I use, especially the newest one, helps you change your vibration. It helps you balance your brain. But it's up to you to get knowledge. It's up to you to wake up and, oh, he's in a bad mood. Oh, God, yeah. And I got to tiptoe, or I've got to figure out how to manipulate him, or I got to stop. Don't do it. Look at through history. Has any of that worked? How's that working for you? If you just stop and you start making yourself right, then it may set the person in your space, including animals and your children, where all of a sudden they don't have to feel like they got to walk on eggshells, or they don't have to feel like, you know, as stressed as you, because your energy field will become dirty and sloppy like pig pen. The energy will just be in other people's spaces. And if they don't know to protect their energy field, then they can morph into that. And children are so impressionable. Animals are very much, if you got a scared little dog, all of a sudden the dog's going to start mimicking, and then you're going to say, something's wrong with that dog. We need to put it down. And it's not that. It's in response to that steaming energy of your thoughts. Thoughts are electrical, and it goes out. Positive thoughts, you can feel like, oh, somebody had a loving thought for me today. Negative thoughts. And then if you put emotion with it, then it becomes a magnetic field and it starts drawing to you. So if you have this negative thing that this always bothers you, then you've just ordered from the universe, and the universe says, okay, she wants more of that. It doesn't go, oh, you shouldn't order that. It doesn't have an opinion. It doesn't have a belief system. It doesn't have a personality. The way the collective works is the way we all are responding. So as I'm looking at this going, this is really overwhelming. And the physical body began to hurt. And I'm like, okay, when the body hurts, it just kind of hijacks the rest of you. So it's like, what is going on? And it might not even be the person in front of you. They are a stand-in for what's in the past. If you used to getting micromanaged or lord over, or you are like flinch without realizing that they use that tone of voice and that puts you into behavior. Oh, they got your button. Or, you're like, oh, they're just like so and so. And are they? Sometimes they're not. Sometimes they are the messenger. And how do you get messages? Well, in a reflective a mirror effect, which is supposed to be simultaneously. But if you look at it through perspectives, you sometimes go, oh my God, we're saying the same thing, even though it's coming from two different directions. And it'll be a feeling, and it usually be a conclusion of how we felt as a child. Now, do we have to point to this person and get angry? No. It begins with how you trained yourself to respond. So as time goes on, if you're open to building those bridges with spirit, and you practice being in that receiving space of love and guidance, and you can be signed up as a messenger. And so, I've had some really cool experiences with people, including myself, where you don't even know, but you're not possessed. It's not that. It's just that you're building and understanding more about frequencies and love. I've had several people pop in like angels. I had several people just pop in and say, I don't know if this makes any difference, but I feel like I was guided by my guardian angel or something to tell you this. And you're like, that's the piece I needed. When you follow these particular things, people say, you're following your heart, or you're following God, or you're following. But when you are building and knowing that you are helping in such a unique way, you will, how did I do that? And it usually be in a moment of quietness where you are not focused on an issue. You could be keeping your ego busy doing something, and then it'll just come in. And you will feel this compelling urge that you need to do something. And it's beautiful. Now, people can also do it and take in lower form energy and be revved up and be caught in their programs. Whereas this is different. When you're talking and communicating and helping spirit, it is a different type of relationship. Oops, there goes my one TikTok. Not surprised. You know what's funny is I found this mysterious cord. I don't know what it goes to, but it's plugged in. But everything seems to be working. I'm like, wait, what? How? What? And I was like, did I have a machine? I went, no. How did I? Again, I still have no idea where what it's attached to, but the speakers seem to be working. Nobody's complaining. So that's a good thing. That is a very good thing. So it feels like it should be like a somber, sad day. But do you have to follow that energy? And I'm going to tell you, no, you don't. But it happens. But are you aware that you're getting pulled by certain fields, certain magnetic fields? Are you aware? And sometimes people are not, which is okay. But when you are, do you want to be in that space? And if you have to share it with somebody else and you don't know how they're feeling, do you keep to yourself? Are you a little scared? Are you, how do you support? How so it always is an interesting walk. So it always is an interesting walk. Do your best to be consistent and happy. If that is bothering people, then sometimes you have to heal inside of you that you see them with love anyway. But you're mindful and you're respectful. Okay, especially that people are sick. And it does mess with your mood. And this is where that it's like when you're being hurt and it becomes annoying, you can't stop focusing on it. But you can disrupt it. You really can. And there are healing tools that can help you do that. And so, use whatever tool in the toolbox. It seemed awfully quiet today. I know that there was Father's Day in Australia, but most of my people are from America. And so it's like, what's going on in America? I don't really want to know anything bad, but what's going on? Why is it just seems so quiet? And are people moving away from social media? Are people tired of being controlled? You know, football. That's why I felt like I wasn't supposed to do today's show. Yeah. So I kind of need to keep up with certain events. So we'll just make this a short show today. And, if you want a free reading that you've never had a reading before, you have an opportunity. I'll help you with whatever it is that you would like to look at. So we have two people. One person's coming on and one person had gotten chat today. And so we're just gonna, is April Lynn here? I appreciate you, Autumn. Thank you so much for being here. Vicky, how are you? So it's nice to have friends. I consider you guys my friends because, over time we get to know each other, and that's not how we build relationships. So what happens when you are with friends that have false appearance of being real? Sometimes it's their mannerisms that they have behind your back. They don't think there's anything wrong with it, but they don't care. But yet, was what makes you to become something greater. Wow, wonderful. I'm glad to hear that. Someone says I always learn from you. I'm here. I wouldn't miss your show, and I appreciate that because you're getting something out of it. That's good. And so we have this energy exchange, which is great. So one friend, so we are redefining what friends are, and we're redefining what relationships are. And I still want to keep, eventually I'm going to talk about it and teach it. I've started several times, but we just don't seem to be really in that space yet. So I don't see April Lynn yet. Excellent, because you're looking for it. I get something out of every time, so you are looking for it. You have grown to expect it, and that's good because that means even if I don't have a message, you will somehow, your spirit will say, "Did you get that? We needed you to get that for today, for whatever you're working on, or whatever you're doing." And just know that when you want to become a better person, it has a lot to do with I didn't think I was beta, and I know I wasn't going to take the alpha stance. And it's like I learned to, get out of the victim mindset. That took some doing because I didn't even know that when I was talking and sharing something, they thought, "Oh, she's hinting around." Went to the dentist, and I had an experience during COVID where you have a it's for false teeth and things like this where you can or braid uh, retainers and things like this, and they did not sell, like nobody could get in this little washing case. I take notes every time and I can feel it. Wonderful, Vicky, thank you. And no matter where I went, nobody get them. I completely forgot about it, and then so I've been using just a bowl. And then so we went to the dentist, got a nice teeth cleaning, and got a great checkup. And I was saying, and they go, "Oh, do you use like Polydent or whatever for retainers and things like this?" I said, "Yeah." And then it hit me that I recalled that in a few years back when I searched, like it seemed like every other month I was looking, and then I gave up. And I'm like, "Yeah, I do." And so she's, "Oh, okay, I got you a free sample." I said, "So do they still make?" I said, "So it was a situation," and I explained it, and I said, "I haven't even looked for it in years." I said, "I wonder, enough time passes, I'm assuming they would have them in the store." And she goes, "Oh, well, I got nothing to give to you." And I says, "I wasn't asked," and I stopped myself because I wasn't asking. I just brought up that I hadn't, and I'm thinking, "Oh, this must be how people ask for things." And I'm like, so I have to be mindful that even though I was sharing that I had an experience, she jumped in and thought I'm niggling for something else free. I wasn't. It's just that, hey, I wonder if they have any. And I still haven't gone to the store to find it yet, but I'm thinking they do. Because I left mine behind at some hotel when we were traveling. Hi, Amber. How are you? Yes, it is a very good day, and it was like, what do I talk about? And it is the very subtle things. It is the very subtle things because I want to be a healthier person, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and that means also friend wise and social skills. And I was like, do we pay attention to how we say certain words that the other person would go, they're hinting to that I give to them. So I remember somebody had visited. We had gone to Red Lobster, and it was like, well, dang it, I didn't get what I wanted because whatever's going on. And how I had said it at the time, it was true. I was hinting, didn't even know it was. I didn't even know that that's not a healthy thing. I didn't know it bothered people. Oh, there goes that account. And then I was like, this does bother people, but why should it? Does it have to? And it shouldn't have to, but it did bother people. And yet at the same time, we can feel the intention when somebody's doing something, but yet we don't, because we will have a tendency, right? It's overheating. So so using one language, even though the intention's not there, and then using the other language is that I'm hoping they'll give to me again. But how do we talk to one another? How are we supposed to communicate? And I mean, I didn't put guilt or shame on myself, but I'm like, wow, that's not my intention. I could have explained it, but then she'd probably think that was lying anyway. I'm backpedaling or something. So I had to really sit down and think about when I do talk to people. I could rearrange my words a little differently. So I have to be a little bit more mindful. Have you ever had that situation? It's weird. There's no one around. I know. It's like very quiet. But so I was like having a conversation, and then all of a sudden I realized what they wanted. And I could feel this push. Now, if any of you ever listened to the Celestine prophecies, and so you want something, you think you're being cute and clever, or you think that you need to use maneuvers and manipulation. And it gets weird because you can get creepy people to people that are very innocent, very cute. And what's weird over time is that the sweet and innocent that people that came to me, it worked on me. And it was fine until I bumped into somebody that had a very hideous agenda with their nicety. And now that can be shocking. So what kind of person do you want to be? I want to be Sigma. It's not about controlling anybody. But it boiled down to that simple little moment as I'm recalling how I have had trouble buying something. And she just happened to use the trigger word of, do you use these? And I'm like, yeah, I do. And then it struck me that in order to use them, you have to, use something, drop it in so it can fizz up and all this. And so I was like, and then I noticed that I never put my glasses in my purse because I don't like fingerprints or any of that. So I usually find a counter. I couldn't find my glasses. And so I mindlessly, when she was talking to me when I got there, I couldn't find a place to put it because there was not a lot of space. And so I wasn't present because I was so listening to what she was saying that I stuck them in my purse. And it was weird how I couldn't find it. I was like, what's going on? when you're having these moments, somebody says, yeah, hidden agendas are scary. And having some of these moments can put you off of feeling very insecure, feeling, safety, security, stability, sanity, surrounding space. All of that is your freedom. Everything is just, you need to heal those. And so we need contrast sometimes. And sometimes we have to have contrast about being careful what you actually say to people. Because you're thinking of being a good friend. It's taking status. Okay, so as you study and grow, and let's say your income grows, or you study and you grow, and your level of thinking grows, or you experience grows, and now you are having different experience than the people you're with, and so you kind of start to outgrow them, or you start to have a life of yours. What happens is that the language changes, and some people can have great resentment that you left them behind because that sense of belonging is no longer there, and all of it's real. But how many of you have stopped your growth to please people? And like, okay, let's say you go into the store and you want something, you like something, and then the salespeople can sell you something you don't want, or you just looked at it, or it sounds like a good deal. Sometimes we're so brainwashed, and I'm an American living down under, but we can get so brainwashed because I remember one of the presidents came on and says, "We are here to save our country. Buy, buy, buy. We're going to increase the economics." And so people had no money, but as soon as the money come in, they bought because they wanted to. And now it's this. You go to the store, you buy because we're told, and we're all in the same collective, and even though we don't have it, and is it really necessary? Do you really want it? Are you spending it because is it emotion that moves you? And what do we do? What do we do? We need to become more mindful of these certain conversations, and if you're hinting around because you don't know how to talk to somebody, start healing instead of just barreling down and think it over. Don't No more knee-jerk reactions, and stop manipulating people to, let's say, oh, I got to talk to this person, to that person, so they'll affect that person, or I really want something, so I know if I push them in having their fear, then they'll give to me. Or why do we have to study people to the point that if we can find their flaw, then we can hurt them? So here I am again. Language, I don't like to use people. I refuse to. I don't. That's my intention is not that way. And so this woman asked me to do an interview, and she wanted to see what the experience was like. I had no problem with that. And then we will mimic back sometimes people's fears without realizing it. And I'm learning my abilities. This was some years ago. And I said, I'm doing this. And she's like, you could tell that she's like, don't go down that road. So I started talking something else. And then she started getting all offensive. And I says, well, and it's not something that I would normally use, but I said, well, I've learned you. I've had to learn you to understand you. And she hated the word "you learned me." And I don't know what kind of experience she had, but she did not want me in her space. And to the point, it made her very fearful. And I'm like, so I was very clear. I'm not crossing any lines. Your stuff's hanging out here. I'm just reading it. And it says, if I can do it, there are people that are doing it that don't know they're doing it, but they're using it to hurt you. And it's like, okay, how do you explain that to people? When you wake up and you do catch the fact that I was in the process of doing that and I didn't even know it. And when you do wake up, it's like you stop. You have to, don't go into your issues, insecure. I don't feel safe. Don't let the chemical peptides drive you crazy. Just stop and go, okay, I'm in the middle of a situation. You want to stop. You want to change your mindset. You want to be able to heal. Maybe take some time to balance your body, take some time, to do certain things, but go change your mindset instead of the program running and getting worse. Mix it up, take a walk, do some exercises. I would take long walks and just be communing with spirit, and spirit would, thank you for the answer, thank you for the answer. And all of a sudden it was like, started developing that part of myself that would have the answer, not the one where I'm going to sit there and I have to win the fight and I'm going to have to, that 41 thoughts of the noise just banging around in your head. And well, if I try this, try this. No, you need to include your heart. You need to include a clearer mind. You need to get the blood back up into your brain. You need to connect with spirit. And because then everything can shift in the 11th hour. And I watch people that all of a sudden they're like, oh, this is not going to work. And all of a sudden they've taken a walk or they have changed and did some energy work. And all of a sudden they come back and everything is in better flow. Not just with them, but with other people and things like computers and stuff. And so, like last night, that energy, no matter if I sat there or I read or I took a walk, I'm doing things, I'm like, this energy is super effing strong. And how I'm reacting to it is exactly how it is meant to be. And we had a different kind of moon, didn't we? I mean, holy crap, I don't even have to have night lights on. I can walk around in the dark and it's like somebody will have a floodlight through my house. And like the moon is just so, I'm like, somebody left the light on. Somebody left the light. No, it's just the moon and I'm like, something is up with the moon. And I haven't looked, I haven't checked it out. So Miss April Lynn, I'm going to begin. I didn't quite see. She said that she's going to go listen tomorrow. She said that means she's off to bed, but I'm going to put it in here now. So if you get a reading from me, then, you'll have a timestamp and all of this, and you can pay or if you're new here and never had a reading, then that can be done. So I'm looking at Miss April Lynn. And sometimes it's not just working on the heavy stuff. Sometimes a card can be, I haven't used cards in a long time. Sometimes cards can make a different insight. Now, it depends on what kind of cards. So, I know I've debated about this for such a long time, what kind of cards I actually want to do, because I don't want just fluff and stuff. I want you to work on some things. And so I feel like there's like a report card due. Okay, it's like, so what is this report card? So when I do these, and so Miss April, yes, you get a word that says yes to something, yes. Now I see a lot of different thoughts going, yeah, but I got a seed of doubt in there, and so I'm looking at, okay, start taking off the masks that no longer serve. So yes, there's something you want to do, but you need to take the mask off. And I said, well, how would we look at it? And is it the mask that you have to put on because somebody makes you uncomfortable? Is it the mask that you have so that you show the world that this is who I am, but don't look over here? And it's like, there's a mask that you don't want, that you have to keep putting on. And this mask is to keep you safe. And I says, is this mask serving you? No. So that means there's no impending outcome, but it's behind the intent that if I really show you who I am, then you are going to rise up and then give some type of energy that's going to come out and says, I'm going to have to behave that way. You will go into an automatic program of saying, oh my God, I'm going to have to behave that way. And I don't really necessarily want to. Oh, it's not going to work. Oh, it is. It's weird. Okay. Let me get out of this. La 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 la. Okay. So again, the mask is something that could be loving, gentle, whatever it is, but underneath it, to see the mask, let's say you can't see the mask, but underneath this mask has everything to do with I'm going to have to behave that way. And it had to do with learned helplessness. So I said, all right, what do you mean? They said, well, at 6 years old, she couldn't do something, so she felt deficient. But it's not because she couldn't do it. I said, could she do it? Yes. But it was rewards and punishment. So don't do that. You can't do that. You're not allowed to do that. You have to behave this way. If you don't behave this way, then the world's going to see you completely different. So it's like, so people were expecting you to behave a certain way. And if you didn't want to be micromanaged, you would put on a mask so that they would not look at the real you. And so it's like, okay, give us a little bit more information. What kind of mask do you no longer need to use? And again, it's not the easiest thing to find, but you are very supportive in everything you do. Some people you had to give support to so that they would not do what to you becomes the question. So you have to put on, I have to be supported, I have to do this. Why? Because I'm overpowered, and I'm overpowered by how they want me to behave a certain way. So I will feel a certain amount to suppress myself because, and even bullied because I can feel their disapproval, and that hurts. That hurts. And I said, well, tell me more about this. And they said, well, at 6 years old, my nerves felt like I wasn't allowed. And so I felt like I was shutting down inside. And there was something to do with, I was so timid, and I didn't like this because as soon as I started to try to be me, I couldn't. And so you're wrestling with something here. Now, if I said, can you give me a little bit more about how we want to heal this? And they said, well, yes. When you're little, meet somebody that fakes empathy, not necessarily no empathy. They will give you this particular type of love, and you're like, but they'll say you have to earn it, or you have to do it the right way to get it. And so then it becomes a learned helplessness. And you're like, I really want that. But I know that if I be me, I'm going to get this disapproval and I won't be able to get that. And it's like, it's not even about an object. It's about, I want that approval. Now you've grown, and you're like, well, I don't need to be playing these games. But yet the little is saying that it remembers that I'm supposed to be deficient. And if I show them this, then they won't be so hard on me. If I show them this, then they'll learn to trust me. And so then that will give me a little bit of freedom. But if I take away the support that I give people, okay, if I take that away, who am I supposed to be? Because now it's set in stone that I have to do this all the time. But I do like helping people. I do like supporting people. But the type of people that want your support is that it's very restricted to, you have to give it to them, or you're doing it wrong. Okay. But your party is like, but I don't want my heart crushed. And so the little girl just is really saying towards myself, I have to learn helplessness is where you're like the elephant that started with a big rope. The elephant can't get away as a baby. As it grows older, dental floss and a chair forces them, and it keeps seeing the limit. It doesn't know that that limit's gone. They just know they can't. And they have to do it a certain way. And this is why it's so ingrained. And so to help you begin, they say, notice that this is about relationships. And I said, is there to do with the pH balance? And they said, yes. Your immune system, because you've had to support others, the support that you're meant to give yourself, you didn't get it fully. And you know that if they're unhappy, then you're not going to get support, and then they're going to make you be responsible. Again, there's nothing wrong with responsibility, but some people had taught you a little bit of abuse. So there's part of you that's like, nope, 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 can't confront this person, can't change that, can't take off this mask. I always got to show up this way so that they are comfortable or they have peace, because I don't want my peace gone. And then when you start to have something that's physically bothering you, and let's say you're complaining about it, or you're not even complaining about it, but you can't help but to whinge, let's say you hurt yourself, then what happens is then they don't know how to handle it. And so how do they handle it? And this is the thing, how do they handle when you need their support? Do you feel like you're being attacked? Does it make it all about them? Do they freak out and don't, they don't want to? So you're going to be healing how, if you were to show up, whether it is in good condition, fair condition, or sick condition. And if you're so used to having to be sick so other people can have happiness, then you need to heal out how that person is going to respond to you if you were to show up other than the only way they tell you. And that is R2D, right wrist, second position deep. And to begin to help your body, because the body says that it's ready, it's done being bullied, it's just, it's like, do I not have to, so the physical aspect of it. And, I said, well, what do you want her to do? And they said, they want you to think governing, GB, and then tap T3 and T6, okay? So T3 and then T6, some right down in here. And get your hairbrush, get in there, and you can tap your back against a door jamb as you're holding the point I gave you, so that you can kind of begin to predict how, if you were to, because this is learned helplessness, this is a really deep installed button. And so if you can begin to change just a little bit of this, of how you're going to predict that if you do a certain thing, they're going to get mad, okay? Because you have to start to take this perception down so that other people don't have to show up that way either. So it's all in the scalar field. Now, don't be afraid that if you take it down, that they get to do this to you. No, when you start to transform the emotions and the energy, then if you employ that spirit, which is what you've been doing, you're going to end up going, okay, and new words will come out. A different way of being will start to approach. Hello. So there's a lot you can do, Miss April. A lot you can do. Hi, Autumn. So Autumn has asked for a reading. She's paid, and I'm going to give her a quick reading. And so Autumn, you're next, dear. What spirit wants? Okay. Again, we're going to look at something. And so whatever's going on in your world, let's find out just a little bit differently what that can look like. And it's so you tend to think and think. Oh, you just paid too? Wonderful. Hi. So one thing is listen to the body is telling you a story. Now, there's a part of you that said to me the other day, can feel when I'm going to have a seizure and all of this. So they want to us address to, you're listening to your body and it's telling you a story. So I'm going to go with that particular time period. Okay. And what we're going to do is this. All right. So what meridian started to be a part of, not actually start, but that's involved, because I don't feel like we can go to the root. We have to go. So what meridians are involved for the seizure? Liver and the spleen. So the liver and the spleen meridian were playing a part. Okay. And either of them frozen? No. the liver had a lot to do with, I don't want to behave a certain way. And the spleen was, I don't trust. So I said, so those two particular emotions, do they have any reason why you have, yes, to that seizure? And I said, okay, so where would you like her to do? And they said, potential hydrogen. Okay, so not, yeah, so that means you have to start making sure that your nutrition is getting improved. But then they also said the physiology health. And so we're going to look at this physiology health, which is the pH balance. And the physiology help here is to look at the nerves. And I said, what would you like her to do? And they said, knowing that these two kind of simultaneously go off, they said, you know, I'm wondering if this energy that came through the other day is affected everybody's governing and central vessel. That's the egg that goes around. Because my pole, my main Tanji pole, was flipped. I'm like, what the F is this about? And kept correcting it, and it kept going out, kept correcting it and went out. And I also worked on my governing and central vessel. So when your egg starts to go down, I said, so what part goes down first? The central. So you'll as soon as this starts to go down, then the liver goes into I lack power, which then is where did my happy go? And then if it's controlled by something else. Hold on. What? Feeling very shy. So if you got those three things going on, you write those three things down, and then you are going to do T3 and T6, okay? T3 and T6 is very important to start tapping, but use the intention. Now, I'm going to add one more thing. You can have your hand to your forehead, but you can put the magnet there, but you can also have, what do you want her to do? Now just leaving, just long as you add the head to it, okay? And I said, so the other one is governing. Now it's the same it's the same place, T3 and T6, but the governing goes down when the liver starts to feel that things are monotonous. And I can hear the thoughts in your head, and then it's like I feel deprived. So those two then start to kick in. So then you got two parts of egg going off. Again, hand on forehead and to T3 and T6. But notice the thinking process, becoming aware of that, yes, this can be a possibility, that your mindset can actually start to throw you off a little bit. Okay, Katie hasn't come through yet. I'm going to check again. Oh, I think it just arrived. Yep. So are we coming on, or what are we doing? Let me know. So did you want to come on? Because that's what it looks like you paid, is that? Yes, I can. Okay. So I will give me a minute here. All right. So let me get the link. I got to find you so I can give you the link. And I think we're still communicating through this. I think I should be able to find you through Messenger. Just saw your head, your face with sunglasses, right? Yes. All right, just follow that link. Nope, I got it. Thanks. So we're gonna have a guest on. Kate, not sure exactly what she goes for, but she's going to want some help and look at something. Let's find out. This will be a wonderful experience. And here she comes. Again, you can have your video off or you just audio only. It's up to you. And here she comes. Hi. Just
Hello, hello.
wonderful. I can hear you. I'm going to have to just adjust my thing just a little bit. I never know how loud it really is. Okay. Hi, how can I help you?
Uh, um, I'm sort of working on trying to get from my head into my heart.
Okay. And
Um,
you're aware that you got too much going on, or is it emotions or thoughts, or how do you know?
um, I know that I'm thinking from here and not coming
Okay.
from here. It's just
So
an awareness, I
decisions
suppose.
decisions are not working out the way you want. I'm looking at how it's like you have these things and it starts to come down to come in alignment, and then it's making you second guess from what I'm hearing.
Yeah, yeah,
All right, let me look at that. Okay, so let's first of all, I want to see what meridians are involved that making you do this particular maneuver. And it says there's a certain amount of anxiety. So let's look for this anxiety. I says, is this fresh? No. This is something that you were conditioned and you have to go in and I says, what age? I was 7 years old. So your 7 year old is running your show right now. Okay. I said, what other meridians are involved? They said, well, the lung. It's like, I'm not doing that. I feel like you said no, you now are a yes girl. Yes, yes, I'll do this. Yes, I'll do this. But I don't feel the body is quite in a line with it. So I'm not sure exactly. I know you said that you were going to travel, and I feel like, did you have two bad experiences when you traveled?
yeah.
Oh, okay, that made you gun shy. Okay, hold on. Yes. Okay, so the very first one, I don't know what it was, but it was scary, what I can feel. And you're like, but this is not how spirit showed me. This is not what?
Yeah, yeah,
What?
yeah,
Okay, so
yeah.
I said, you had to have this experience. And they said, yes. And I said, could we have prevented it? And he goes, no, because what it was that there was a part of you that you've been such a powerhouse last few years of growing and this and that.
Mm.
But the thing that you have to undo, unresolve, or resolve, undo, uncreate, as it has a big chunk of your energy field, is this particular anxiety. I said, okay, so how would you want her to deal with that or to do something with it? And they go, well, towards herself. And I said, what do you mean? Energy that she did towards herself? Yes. So around 7 years old, to handle a negative situation where you felt thought everything was good and then it became incompatible around 7, it had something to do with your parents. You seemed to track the same story through. It was like the same thing, and it was kind of scary to the point where you made it a habit and you became gun shy. How do I get back into this world that I want? Okay, in the 7 year old, you're just like, I can't. I'm not doing that.
Mm.
And the not, from what I can hear, was good. We're gonna do this, and you're like, I'm gonna do this. And now that you're an adult, I'm doing this. There's a part of you that says, do you remember why you didn't do it? And so then I said, okay, hold on. What is it? And I go, safety, security, stability, sanity, serenity, space. It's like your freedom was so restricted,
Yeah,
but it's also your space was invaded.
yeah,
And I said, so when you're around 7 years old, I feel like how your parents might have controlled the situation with you. And it kind of invaded the space. And okay, because your body's like going, excuse me. So what I'm looking at is I'm looking at how your aura is only coming out from like to here. It's
yeah,
not coming
yeah,
out at all.
yeah.
And so as soon as I do that, it says I have anxiety. It's going to happen again. It already happened again. It's going to happen again. It's going to happen again. And so then your sensory systems become hijacked.
Yeah.
And then it's like, but your 7 year old says, I can't get over. And so you got pictures. I says, where do you got the pictures at? So they're showing me, yeah, you got pictures. And right now, your brain, and I says, well, what would you like me to help her do? First of all, the potential, the physiology, okay, so something I call pH balance, is that your nerves, and I said, so tell me where we should go. And they go, the first thing that she needs to do, oh, hold on here. They're saying it. So we're looking at the way the adrenals right now are functioning. They're very seem to be like they're on. They don't, it's like they're not wanting to turn off. Okay, so if you can kind of focus on how you felt the invading, okay? It's like you felt it, but you felt it more real. Do you know what I mean? Because you can feel when you walk in, somebody's invaded your space.
Yeah.
Were you personally assaulted at some point?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so this all, okay, so because they're showing me like several different bubbles here.
Yeah.
And this one is too similar to this one's similar to this one. And how it
Yeah.
is that your aura is going, and so your adrenal. So what I want you to do is you got a hairbrush or anything, or something that you can tap your back with.
Oh, yeah, I can go do that.
So I've got like something like this, nice and heavy,
Yeah.
and so let me know when you get it and I'll keep talking. So what's happening is the physiology. So she's got an incongruent, one part's yes, the other part's going no. And so it's taking her physiology and then she'll produce certain hormones and chemical peptides and it's going to mess with her thinking. So she says, I'm stuck in my head. And I know that I'm the type of person that have had great results because I know when I balance and I have this here in my heart, it can work. But I'm having some issues here. So in this case, the physiology is vibrating differently. So you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. So you are just kind of, and the only way to really measure this is because I don't know if you can do muscle testing or not, but I'm going to just kind of imagine that in the mirror effect, we're looking at your adrenals, and I mean, it's like one of them's super going and the other one's kind of feeling burned out. So they're not even in sync. So you're going to take your brush and you're going to, your hands are kind of full. So just kind of, normally I would say put your hand here, but let's just get the back worked on right now. And this is adrenals. Okay, so we're going to go find T7, T9, and T11. So right in there, like right where the bra, just below or right around in there, come down a little bit more to your lumbar. So bang on, try to do both sides, or, I don't recommend normally just right on the spine, and, but at the same time, you can just be gentle, but just breathe. Now, you may have to come up from behind the other direction, but yet I can feel that it is working because my teeth are not as jittery with the adrenals. Just keep going and make sure you get that T11. T11, T7, T9, and T11. You got to go down further. And I would come up from behind to get the T11 because it's down past the bra line. Okay, past the bra line. Okay, now that's a little better. That's a little better because now we've got this here. So, and then I'm looking at this and I said, is there anything in particular? And they said her central vessel is down. Okay, so I'm gonna look at the Tanji pole, see how you're doing. But this one is down. But it's not just down. I'm looking at why. And they said, well, it has everything to do with feeling empty right now. Do you know what I mean by empty?
Um,
Emptiness?
yeah, it's such a funny feeling. Like I feel like I'm in my body for the first time in my entire life. I feel very present, but then it's just stone cold quiet.
Okay.
And
Okay.
then I'm also going through a huge amount of grief. So
Okay. So I'm going to just ask, do we want to, so we're just going to keep following the path. Keep following the path. Okay. So we will, because this particular thing is that the the two systems that are in our body that is about triple warmer and circulation sex, they have everything to do with fight and flight and freeze. And there's a part of you that had gone into, oh my God, because of the way the adrenals are. So in a way, sometimes you feel a little empty. Like, where's and so what we're going to do is we're going to have you, yeah, all right. Just got to figure out which one it is. Your pituitary is not communicating properly from the hypothalamus to the pituitary to adrenals. And so now we have to go to the pituitary. And in this case, it has a lot to do with feeling empty. Like, I have to be on alert. I don't know if it's not that I don't got any left. I just feel, like you said, this empty. So we're going to do that. We're going to focus on and say the word pituitary. And you're going to tap C2. So in the neck area. Okay, so you're going to tap up here, C2. Okay. And then just breathing in and out. And then you're going to go to C5 in the middle of your neck. Breathing in and out 3 times. And then you're going to do T1, which is right there on the back, just on top of the shoulder type thing, right on top where your neck comes. And you're just going to breathe in and out because I'm looking that it wants to correct. So go back up to C1, C2. There you go. Now let's do C5 again. Okay, just seeing the correction. So now I'm looking at the hypothalamus talking to the pituitary. That looks more balanced. And the pituitary to the adrenals. That's better. Yeah, okay. That's good. That's good. You can stop doing that now. Now I'm going to ask Spirit, where else would you like? So you're in a recalibration. Just give me a second. And they said, well, in the meantime, while you're recalibrating, remember, this is towards yourself. The seated doubt came in. The 41 thoughts per minute can't really seem to stop on, and you said there was some sadness that you went through. Okay. So I said, where do you want her to go? And they said, if she could hold, I don't know, are you holding your phone?
Yeah.
All right. Is there any way you can put it down or?
Yep. Yep.
All right, put it down. So what we're going to do is we're going to work on this particular sadness that you may have. Okay. So the body needs you at this point, and the way you feel towards yourself, there's a certain amount of blame that you're doing towards yourself because that's what you were taught. So I want you to go to your stomach on the right side, and that is on top of the foot. And so if you can kind of see the camera, then it is this point here go to the right side, the right one right there, just before the curve. And I want you to use your hand or the magnet if you have a magnet, because your stomach meridian has to do with being grounded and then the ability to achieve. Now, after you've done that, then make sure you push in deeply and rub 30 times, because the body is saying that the sadness that you're having, there's also the silent brooding. Okay, so it's like you're not hearing something that you, again, towards yourself. I feel like as a kid, towards yourself, you were conditioned to be kind of hard on yourself.
Yeah.
And so with the situation that you just had, did you blame yourself because you couldn't? Okay.
Well, the person I traveled with blamed me for everything.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Okay, so let's remove that. Let's use, like, after you rub your stomach point, okay?
Yeah. And
That's
then
good.
the other thing I was working on with myself this morning is that, so my dad's dying essentially, and I
Oh,
blamed myself for not
okay.
spending time with him. So
Okay. And is that yours, or did other people make you feel that way?
no, it's me.
Okay. And as I look, I said, is this really true? And they said, the deficiency is you can't get past the fact, I don't know if he invaded your space by his anger or whatever it was, but that is there too. So the energy of him from long ago and the energy of this person that blamed you, we're going to have you start to remove this, okay? Because the energy is there and it's really knocked your physiology off. And so I said, all right, what do you want me to have her? Now we're going to go back to the adrenals because they just kicked in again. So focus on how, oh my God, this invading energy, they're blaming me. Feel how it just came in and just seemed to hit your heart. And then remember how we tapped T7, 9, and 11? Go back to
Yep.
that part of your spine. Remember, it's going to be like right here and below.
Yeah.
And I think you're kind of up high. So we may have to put that, put your brush behind you and see if you can get to that angle. So there you go. Yeah, because you're vibrating. So just imagine that you're taking the energy off. You were believed that you were supposed to take this on as a kid, but as an adult, you're like, no. But yet they're like, you talk me into this. They are just blamers from what I can feel. When they process, they know how to throw from what I can see.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I feel like it's like barreled right through your heart and out your back.
Yeah.
Okay, that's why you can't connect to your heart from what I can see. Okay, and make sure you get that T11, which is like
Yeah, that's what.
there we go. There we go. Remember, okay, so we want the energy to come off. There you go. Now it's gotten better. So this energy of the person, is it still going in there? No. Feels good. Feels a little bit better. And so her thoughts, okay. So we're going to help take care of some of that thoughts, and we are just going to take for the spleen. And what do you want me to do? Right side. So we're going to have you go inside part of the leg, okay, on the right side, and then you're going to right past the bunion, up a little bit, deeply penetrate that on the right side. And your spleen has a lot to do with your thinking, okay? But you were taught that you have to be, because it had gone through. I mean, it looks like a bullet hole just went through, okay? That's why your aura is so far in.
Yeah.
And so you can't help but to toward yourself, get mad at yourself, blame yourself, because they made you, that energy and then you're like, that's all you can focus on.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Now, these thoughts that were making you feel this way, they were very high. Do you feel like they're really high now? Because we want to get that down a little bit more, or if not down completely. But you're thinking, you have to go on regret and all of this. All right. So now I want you to rub something else, and that is the stomach. Go back to the stomach, go on the right side and rub this. So can't get connected to earth at this point. Okay. You just really can't. So the spleen and the stomach saying, I can't even connect.
Yeah.
The spiritual part is like, I'm here waiting. You're like, well, I've done something wrong. No, it's convincing.
Yeah.
The
That's
energy.
kind of, yeah, that's what it feels like. It's like I can't connect to anything spiritual. It's like
Because the
silence.
wedge, it's the wedge. It's the wedge of these
Yeah.
emotions. But it was accepting and believing and giving your willpower away that it got stuck. And now you want to have clear thought, but you can't. You miss yourself, but you can't. But this,
Mm.
like I said, this was like went right through. Okay, so you're doing good. You're doing good. I need you to now rub another spot, and that is because your governing meridian, the egg, is down. So
Yeah.
get right in here and start to just rub here. We want to get that activated again. Now we're going to check here. That's much better. But begin to look at these thoughts. Have you been able to go for a walk or anything?
Yeah.
Because what I noticed is that, yeah, you start to walk, starts to clear, but you are convinced as a child, somehow I am supposed to take responsibility. It is my fault.
Yeah.
And it's strong. But you got to understand is that people can rearrange words in a unique way and make you take on something you didn't need to take on. Do you understand? And this is where your liver part of you're like, I feel like it's a lie, but I know it's real. So you made
Yeah.
it real. It's their truth, it's their opinion, it's
Yeah.
the way they doing things, but you can't stop beating yourself up thinking, I did that.
Yeah.
No, it takes two. You understand? And this is where you don't feel that stable. This is why it's stuck there. So I'm going to have you do one more thing. And I just want you to rub, start with your left and just look at me right here. And then you can see it better here. So it's right in the middle, in the back, right in the middle. Okay, start with your left and just deeply rub. And your triple warmer just keeps going off and saying, you have to hate yourself. You have to, you can't, look what you did. No, spirit is there saying, no, let's clear this. Let's clear this. Okay. You don't have to believe this. You don't have to believe this. And then when you feel like you've done it 30 times, go over to the right side and do that another 30 times. Now, you're very timid and you're very gun shy. So what we're going to have you do is hold R2S, right wrist, second position, soft, okay? And put your hand up there, and I'm going to just give you some time. I'm going to mute you because I want you to go through the process of focusing on that feeling of shyness. And once that starts to go down, I want
Sorry,
you then.
can you just show me that position again? Sorry.
Yes, that's fine. I'm going to shrink you down. I don't want you to disappear. I'm going to bring on somebody else. I want you to work on a couple things, okay?
Okay.
So you may have to pay attention to the messenger. Okay, I'll type and put in there. So the first one is, oh, are you switching? Hold on. Because, so the timid feeling, even though that's the central, you're going to look at this anxiety. So right wrist, second position, nice and soft. This is the one we're going to do. If you happen to rewatch this and you hear me say the other number, you can do that later. But right now they said they really want you to do R2S. Right wrist, under the thumb, second position, nice and soft, okay? Because it's just super strong. Feel the anxiety and locate it somewhere like it's, we know that something went through the heart, but this feels like it's like my stomach has to do this. My legs have to be jelly. I can't. It's like you can feel this energy coming in and knocking you down. So you're like, I can't get back up. I feel timid. I feel shy, gun shy. I just want to take my breath away. So just hold that and just feel that anxiety. Oh, okay. So don't go away. I will mute you and close your camera off, but I can still talk to you through Messenger. Okay. Let's see. Oh, can't close your camera off? Really? Thought I could. Yeah, I can. There we go. Okay. So we're helping Katie. When we have this really interesting part of what we're going through, sometimes you need people just to hold space for you. So I don't want her just to go away. She did some energy exchange with money, and I don't want her to go away because I want her to feel like she's not alone in this, because from what I can tell is that it was somebody else's issue, and it played a big massive part of where she's, she knows that spirit's here, she knows that she can connect to spirit, but she can't do it yet. That's okay. That's all right. So we're going to bring in Ayme, and we'll have a chat with her as I work with it. Now remember, Katie, to measure, 10 being the worst, and then you can message me and say, okay, I got it down or something, or in the chat and I can see it. Hi, Miss Ayme, how are you?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm good. So, how can I help?
It's been an interesting, week?
Okay, so you're still going through some tests, going through some changes.
Uh-huh. A report card?
Oh, okay, yeah, we'll do that. Okay, let's see where she's at. And so, yeah, I'm hearing something. We're going to just say all of that, because apparently it's been a busy, all of that. Okay. And we're going to ask, like, what do I need to know? And it's reclaiming your heart energy. And this is the little girl part of you that says that you get to make your own choice and the possibilities are endless. So you're very hopeful. But your heart is saying that you can't yet. You can't. So let's figure out why your heart says that you can't. Okay. And as I'm looking at this, I'm feeling that you are like, okay, so you've done a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
You're ho-hum right now. It's not like you're disconnected, but you're ho-hum. Ho-hum. So I'm listening and I'm like, so talk about the heart then. It's like, okay, her heart has a lot to do with I have to stay disconnected long enough so that my heart won't get broken because, and they're showing me around 6 years old, that this is the anticipation of your brother dying. It feels similar to, yep, I know that if there's a lot of engaging, if all of this is going to happen, there's going to be drama, there's going to be this, and it's like, I don't really want to go through this. And so it is the anticipation that you have to, just like the brother. This is not going to end well. So I says, what else? Anything else about the heart? And they said, well, I'm worried. And I said, so is this your worry? No. But at the same time, you're supposed to be worried about drama. Why? Is this about parents? No. The ill intent that can get thrown at you with words. Okay, so I want you to hold L3D and notice that your heart can't be confident. And you know that you already are crushed and then how easily you can be crushed. And so you two are doing something similar where you're getting blamed for something. And from what I can tell is that you and Katie both are growing, but yet the people around you are still using old tactic and maneuvers and living in the 3D chaos world with drama. And I feel like both of you, again, you want to have a drama-free life, but the energy of relationships are changing drastically with you guys. And what do you want them both to know? That you both, because you're little, not only did you take the blame, you were forced to take the blame. What did you do? I keep hearing phrases like that. Pay attention. You and Katie both take and pay attention to what did you do? And that energy, that how they threw that at you, and it kind of made you feel like you got disconnected. Like you wanted, like, okay, they screamed, and how high do I jump? But there's this particular feeling. So for the both of you, now you can't help but flinch because your little girl self always felt like it had to be accused. You both are doing a similar reading here. Oh God, so your younger selves are like, it hurt, it's hurting now, and now I'm supposed to punish myself because I put them in that position. I don't know who either one of you, but somebody has made you say it was your fault that you made them feel this way, and it's not true. Just because they couldn't control you, either one of those or whoever they are, they convinced you that they had the power to control you. I find this fascinating. So both of you just sit in with this, begin to notice the direction of the energy coming in, and I want you to measure it, take it and put it into the treasure chest. This is their energy. This is their belief system. I'm watching how both of your pHs, your physiologies, both of them are attracting this in now because I feel like this is part of what the universe is meant to do. So you guys are both an interesting test that in order to go to that next frequency level, you have to dismantle this that was built in your system.
Mm-hmm.
But you're like, but I can't seem to stop attracting it in. And this is where we have to find that emotion. Go ahead. You're going to say something?
No.
Okay. And both of you are emotionally repressing. Feel that. Both of you are emotionally repressing. If you could focus on what that looks like. Oops. Let me plug this in. Now, can you feel how you have to be the one that self-regulates? Be the one that has to shut your mouth and self-regulate. And when you do this, you feel like, okay, breathe and shove it down. Suppress this and don't give them satisfaction. I don't know who that one's for, but you push it down and wow, it's really, you got to push this down. Ooh, okay, so there's something about you have to take and overcome, rise above it, suppress it, be the bigger person. Yes, have had to push so much down. Okay. So both of you are being, so this energy on it with this moon is about you getting ready to pass a test that says, I got to be this little kid that says I'm supposed to be pushed. I have to push this down. This is the only way I knew how to survive. Now, again, this is all about survival. This is what would you like? There, and both of you, okay, you guys are really lined up well here. Your central the central vessel is down, and they said that in order to make sure it learns to stay up, is that you're going to have to take care of your reproductive system, meaning you both female. It had affected your abilities here, and so what you're going to do? Well, how would you like to do it? So you're going to be feeling this like you got to suppress it. You got to not be yourself. You're supposed to reject yourself because you're female or you're not who they wanted. But you're going to take your hairbrush or your hand because it's low, L3 and L5. So you're going to go down here, and L5 is right at where your jeans would set, right at the waist, and L3 is just a little bit above, Do your best to get it on both sides. Breathe in and out, and if you can have your hand on your head, great. If not, put a magnet in. Your magnet is in place, okay? But breathe in and out because this is about she-jection. I'm supposed to reject me. I have to in order to get, and it's like it's displaced as well. It's like, okay, I got to suppress, but there's no room left. What do I do? Well, I'll have to get rid of this part of me so I can keep this down. So don't go pop goes the weasel. So both, oh man, my innards are like, whatever Katie did, her heart, I just saw the energy come out. So her aura is starting to repair itself. So it's pop. I just felt it pop. Like that's kind of what I was looking for because that one was just kind of out there. Now, both of you have developed habits to survive so long. Now, what you got to do is you both are I'm spiritual beings. I'm going to do this. Now, we're going to help you remove the wedge, but you're going to have to pay attention to the habits of the signature of these people that regardless of what words come up or what they wrote me or, I got to go. The seed of doubt is going to start to filter. This is like you guys walking out of the gates of hell. And as you're walking out, the gnashing and the gnawing of the teeth. And words seem to will stop you in your tracks. If you could figure out what words these were, or the amount of shame or guilt, that energy that's like used with these words, and notice that if they withhold. So the other part is they'll use these words and it'll hurt. So you guys are going to be doing a lot of L1D, where you can't be confident because your heart's crushed. But notice it's the withholding. It freaks you out actually more because you don't know. Okay. So withholding, and that because you don't know if they're going to build up or if they're going to explode, or if they're going to do what the old world does and tear you down and everybody around them with them. Hi. Or you don't even know if they're going to turn to your friends and make you the enemy.
Right.
Okay. So L1D, because, but it's how they withhold because this is interesting. So I took and I wrote something in silver, and of course I can't see it. That's the only pen I had. I said lower right corner. What are you referring to, Brenda? Oh, they want me to test that. Okay. So I'll test it on Ayme first. Here's the mirror in the lower right corner. And you have no energy. Okay, so that's part of the that's how we would talk about the reproductive system. So this includes, again, that reproductive system. What do you want me to do? Okay, so both of you are going to begin to tap at L3 and L5 again, because it's yeah, so just L3 and L5. Get down in there and tap again, because it's like, this is that female part. They ring my friend. Oh my gosh. So that did happen. I'm not going to say that out loud, but it's what I said. Oh, so they're using your, wow. When you become different than them, this is the thing you got to understand. You're going to talk different, you're going to sound different, and you're going to move different. Sometimes you cannot include people that are in the 3D world, because they'll use your spirituality against you. They'll use maneuvers and tactics to defraud you, or to make you pay, or to have that part that so controls you and makes you feel like they can hurt you. Okay, so this totally makes sense. I want Katie, L1D for sure, because you can see the energy attack again and again and again and again. This is where you really want to get into the how you know that they're pushing that on you, and then you're supposed to become submissive and stop being yourself. This is where the gun shy I was telling you was coming in. But it's hitting the heart. Both of your hearts are being hit really hard. This is why I want to cry, because I can feel both of you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's probably, yeah, you guys have come in alignment big time here. Oh, when they definitely accusing and throwing. Katie, I'm going to look at something. Maybe that's the same thing. Hold on, let me just check. But it's in the power of the belief that she or they or them, can't tell if it's more than one person or what gender it is, but it is this group mentality that they hate you. But this energy is to disempower you, and it is a very stronghold. Oh, that would make sense. Okay, so it's a very strong hold. Katie, you're going to have to, I want you to hold, oh, geez, there's two things here. Both of you are doing it. You hear too? Tap or hold, pH it. Okay, so I want you to feel how I have no choice. Absolutely, absolutely no choice. And I want you to feel how you have no choice, and that you're going to have to do what they want. You have to behave the way they want. You're going to have to swallow your pride. You're going to have to suppress shit down. You're going to have to do this. And I want you to get your hairbrush, and I want you to go and start. You can use your hands first for T2, and then T5 and T8. So start in T2, T5, and then T8. So it's right at the bra line. And because the physiology is making you pop out of existence, it's like you're supposed to take the hits and the pains. You're supposed to show remorse. You better get on that bended knee and do what I say type energy. Yeah, Katie, I'm going to tell you, this is why I pulled out of that scene as well, because they say that they had advanced. And because I keep doing what I'm doing with spirit and working with the energies, this is why MWS came about. This is why the word and the knowledge came in. And it is to help people that are not meant to keep making cookie cutters. You are supposed to be a solo mission. Part of you and Ayme both have this mission that you're supposed to bring more light on the world, but it is not to be at the beck and call of other people that say they are healers, and then yet they are talking out the two sides of their face. They have not done certain growth. They can't let go of the alpha or the beta. They are, so where I was 5 years ago, you guys are now stepping into. Whoa. Okay. Definitely holding space for the both of you, because that was not a fun space. Hate clubs, everything shit forms. But you do not have to be the victim. So this is you saying to the 3D world, I'm going to heal out my victim mindset. So the pimp and the hoe are the energy fields. That is 3D. And the hoe will become the victim, but the hoe will also have to pimp. So this dynamics constantly have to happen, and it needs to stop. So then you go into the four archetypes: the victim, the saboteur, the prostitute becoming less than, and the child of many faces. So you are growing those at the same time, breaking up with and saying, I'm done with the hero's journey and this painful story. So they want you to feel this way. But then it's like, if we keep disrupting, do a lot of EFT, don't fall for it, keep saying thank you, spirit, keep oh, that's right, you're in tribe, you're not, but watch the shows, do whatever you can, but to have the type of experience that you two have volunteered as a soul to do in this next part is to go into putting yourself first, getting that love, putting that oxygen mask on, and you're going to go into the situation that you need to with spirit, and spirit's going to say, let me take you out of this. And then what happens is you keep healing, keep disrupting, you will become stronger, and you'll start holding the cup of peace, and you won't care about those hate clubs. They will start to zig and zag. The universe will start even pulling people away from you. Yeah, if you would like to, yeah, sure. That would be wonderful. Oh, you're home. Okay, good. At least I know you're safe. That's good. I thought you were safe. I felt that. Yeah. Yeah, that would be great. So I'm looking at you two. I'm holding the space because I know I made it through. I know how I did it. I didn't fall for the gameplays, the attacks, even though they were heavy and were supposed to induce fear. I healed every knee-jerk reaction. I called all my energy back every time. And every time I saw the seated doubt, I go like, no. And I got vicious. No, you can't. You can even get to the point is that no, devil, you can't. Whatever you want to do. The point is no. But you have to notice it's the seed of doubt. Because once they know that seed's there, then they'll start to twist it. And they're like, the universe will work in your favor. How I've gotten out of these things is that I've seen them in the past with stop. I can't do this anymore. Thank you, spirit. Show me what to do. And I stayed in that, which means I became very mindful. As soon as I started to get sad, nope, tap that out. As soon as I started to believe the feeling that they're winning, I tapped that out. I called my energy back. And I kept doing Celtic weave, kicking their energies out, the Wayne Cook, kicking that energy out, peanut buttering, kicking that out. And I did a lot of OMG, because I don't think I had to, the very first time I didn't have the tools I got today. And then the second time was I had the tools and I didn't have a pH balance, but trust me, just keep calling in spirit and just watch everything start to, and you may have people coming in on that will come out of nowhere and start to help you. So you may have secret angels that'll help you as well. But just say thank you, spirit. Even in the 11th hour when it looks like it's the roughest, don't believe the lie. Keep tapping, keep balancing it back, taking the energy off of you. tribal basics are very important at this point.
Mm-hmm.
You don't go talking to friends. Don't go talking to people because you're going to be at your vulnerablest. Okay? If all of a sudden, because the way the first time Spirit had done it says they kept, it says, hold on. And it looked like I had to get my hands dirty before they could take him out. And I'm like, oh my God. But yet I went unscathed. And the reputation, it didn't matter. And I'm like, what? Heck, it was like a big bomb. Now I'm here and then good. And then it was like it was going to be a bigger bomb. But Spirit will send helpers, which I did the second time. 2 helpers. I wasn't even sure what was going on. But I kept healing the fear, the seed of doubt, and the universe will know how to bring in the helpers that know how to do the 3D world. Just keep saying, thank you, Spirit, thank you, Spirit, thank you, Spirit. Show me something greater than this. Thank you, Spirit. And keep your mind right. As soon as fear comes in, get rid of it. This is what I'm going to tell you. Okay, so there's more work you guys get to do, but this is So Katie, are you feeling any better? You feeling any better? Because this is not something that can be done in a few minutes, but it is a start, and we can get going much further. Okay, because this I know exactly who you guys are. Lighter, but a lot of tears. Okay, so I want you to make sure you start doing a lot of L2D, the both of you, because it's connected to how you were convinced to believe the lies and that it's your fault. Feel the energy being thrown at you. Feel how you're supposed to, it's like, imagine the outside being Voldemort, okay? And it's like, bend. And your body's automatically has to bend. This is what's called an automatic program. When these automatic programs start to work on you physically without your help, you don't need to think or feel. The body's like, oh, and you're like, I can't stop this. You can.
Mm-hmm.
It just takes some time, but you get you there. You don't need them. They need you to be in a certain position. They need you to do this. Once you start to realize you don't need them, and you take your power back and you change the fields.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I care about both of you very much. And just call upon Spirit. You got your name up on the grid. Ask for other extra help. And, you can even say in tribal healers too, whatever you want. And just open up to receive and say, thank you, Spirit. Thank you, Spirit. Just start to chant to get your alignment. Do the basics. You'll make a major difference. How are you doing, Miss Ames?
The seed of doubt that was planted, it's not as big. It's
Why do we give power to it? Because of fear.
because of fear. Yeah.
Right. And if you say thank you, Spirit, you could say, okay, why does that fear have to be there?
It doesn't.
Right. For you, I can see that the reason is because why your little inserted it, because it was told to believe something.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I feel like maybe the same for Katie as well, but it's a lot to do with approval, not being rejected. And sometimes the best thing to do is be rejected by those people.
Mm-hmm.
Because you will dust yourself off. Spirit will provide other people for you to love you.
Mm-hmm.
But it's what that energy does when it comes to us and we turn it in and destroy ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Don't let them shake the jar. Don't let them do that to you. Take your power off. That power off, heal it out, change it. EFT works great. But the biggest thing is to measure it. Don't fall for it. Disrupt, disrupt, disrupt.
Mm-hmm. And that's what I've been doing all day.
Okay. Do you feel like they have power to overpower you?
No, they don't. It's my littles are like, well, they wouldn't do that.
Okay, so both or one? If I were to look at both you and said, I'm okay with failing, I want you, Ayme, you say it first. No. Now I'm going to look at Katie. Katie, say, I'm okay with failing. Okay, that's part of your link. I'm okay with failing. And I'll give you one more before we go. And this is again with the adrenals. This is energy that's coming at you. They want you to fail.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you are going to do your adrenals again. And that is the T7, T9, and T11. 7, 9, and 11. And notice again, it's energy there. They want you to fail. And you're like, I'm okay with failing. No, understand, this is about incongruency. It doesn't mean that, okay, my body's okay. That means I will fail. No, it just means you do not have to follow orders. Your nervous system does not have to sit there and say, oh, no, everything's quiet. We want congruency inside of our body so that we can hear. Okay, yeah. All right, we got to take that power back. We got to take that power back because that's a belief that they made you believe in order to gain access. And that is maybe when they were young, but you're done. Because this power, the spirit in you is greater than them. Trust me. Keep working on getting yourself back into alignment, and spirit will just start to rearrange things in your favor. You'll stop ordering stuff from, I don't know, you both did it at the same time or something. Because it was just like double the strength. Yeah. And notice how they got you to, so the word was every time I try, I fail. So they got that story. You got that story. It's stuck there. And so it's not true. So like right now, talking to me every time. So the concept of time is always. So I'm going to try. Well, you just came on. You just took an action. But when you start to proceed what you want, they don't want you to get on the avenue. You got to remember, if you are not showing up the way they want, they can only see from this perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Then they have to autocorrect you because they believe that their life, they don't understand that the program is saying, anything other than all they can see is them. All they can see is, I can't handle this, so I need you to correct. I mean, every time I started to be me, I kept feeling the energy pulling me back down. And I'm like, what the heck is this? And it was, I stopped. Yeah, when they're narcissists and gaslighters, done. Say, no, you don't have the power over me. So you keep healing. And when I started watching that, I was too happy. They would pull me down. I'm like, but it's okay for me to be optimistic. You love being pessimistic. But then it was, why do I care? Why is their values important to me? And I said, well, they're not. Then why do you believe that you have to? Because they say, I don't. And when you start seeing the gameplay of the gaslighting and the narcissistic ways of being, I'm done. I don't need you. And the most strongest power is when all of a sudden you say, I'm done. And then you look over and you're like, I don't need you. You actually are the one that needs me. And this safety, the security, stability, sanity, surrounding space that happens within you, spirit goes, oh, I'm so glad you're looking. There's your safety. There's your security. Oh, we're going to resolve here. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And we're going to bring these people in. And all of a sudden, your whole stuff that you thought you had to keep holding up, just you're like, phew. And then it all falls. Let them fall where they are. They have to grow up. We do not need to keep rolling out that same karma. You're done. It's not my job to make it. It's not my job to, and you want to no. The 3D people or just program people don't know anything other, but your heart, your connection to your higher self does. And to get out of hell, you have to start creating a heavenly space. Mm-hmm. And if that seeded doubt starts to come in, you may have a maneuver run on you. Stop, heal it out. Be okay to lose your family and friends. I'm not talking death. I'm talking, I create a life. What's that, hon?
The frequency gap.
Exactly, the frequency gap. So there's a vertical and a horizontal, and about 5 years ago, it was super huge, and that separated a lot of people. And that's why it's not really affecting me this time around, because I've already gone through it. And I'm watching you, both of you, go through it right now. So you may have family and friends that you thought you're supposed to be with the rest of your life. May not be true. Yes, I have a block. Good. You have to sometimes. You have to block. You have to do this sometimes, because your sanity, your health, your soul is very important. You came here, both of you, to break out of the hellish state of mind, because they are just states of mind. You have a mission to do, both of you. And all it is that you start staying in the alignment of love as you keep making that photon footprint. If you're meant to do something more, you will just walk right in it, and you'll be there, and you're like, whoa, didn't even try. It's just here.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to be mindful of, where are you investing your thoughts? Where are you falling for the seed? Where is fear coming in? And as soon as you start to nip in the bud, I'm done, I'm done, I'm done, you'll start building this track into your brain that gets you stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger with spirit. And it won't make a difference, because they don't have to use emotional blackmail or emotional torment to control you, because I don't value your opinion. I don't have to believe that I was rejected. I don't want you. And then I'm over here going, oh, no, heal that you believe that you're alone. No, that's again part of the hell. When you begin, for you, Katie, you need to start making sure R3S. You need to make sure that triple warmer. So I would do R3S, right wrist, first position soft, to help you with that seed of doubt. But also rubbing and making sure, if you have to use a magnet, you can. Because that was the other thing about this energy coming through, is my triple warmers were just going nuts. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I had to use a magnet on both, and I had to keep rubbing. But my body kept saying, I have to be there. I'm like, no, I don't.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you both, ladies, for the exchange of energy and being vulnerable. And it's an honor. I'm going to hold space for the both of you. And Katie, we'll see you tomorrow, Tribal. So we'll take care of that. And
Awesome. Welcome back, Kate.
so we can hold space for each other and learn how to hold space for ourselves, no matter what kind of influence is out there, because we are leaving the hellish state of mindset.
Mm-hmm.
You both got this, according to what this is, because you both have stepped up and said, I'm going to take care of these emotional hooks, these emotional abuse, this emotional stuff. And I said, let go of the pain that no longer serves. So the brain is saying, I'm the one that tells you the pain. But if you change that filing cabinet, you change it and change the words, change the definitions, change all of it, then you can learn to let go the pain that no longer serves. It needs to serve to keep you protected, or it needs to serve so that it won't hurt you. But if you realize you do not have to be a program, and you tap it out, you change the so that your nerves are coming in congruency, meaning I don't have to play these games. Some people are like, well, if I heal out that I'm afraid to fail, then that means I'll fail. No, it just means you won't have to vibrate it in your space, because you were incongruent and you saw it. You take any of the nerves and their balance, then you stop attracting that in. And now you got to pay attention to any type of healing that you've done. You begin to witness in spirit. You witness this and that. Okay, you both are going through something major, and I wish I could give you that faster turnaround that I know can happen, but give time.
I feel like it needs to unfold for both of us.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. This is why if you keep your tools in your back pocket and use them, then it won't matter. The influence gets cut off.
Yeah, it does.
But you've had longer time to take care of the 41 thoughts. And so she's just beginning to understand this medicine woman solution world, where I can heal myself and spirit can be my guides, and I can take control of this human form, and I can change how the AI in me, which is all the old programs that we have, for the better. I don't have to have my programs, that artificial intelligence, to guide me. I can learn to be my authentic and sovereignty of who I am. Well, like I said, it's been an honor. Thank you so much. Okay. And we will talk to you later. And we'll see you in Tribe tomorrow. Okay.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Love you.
Love you too. All right. Bye.
Bye.
There we go. All right. Hopefully, I'm going to double check something just caught my attention. And then let's see who this is and what this is. Theresa. Have a headache. 3 or 4 days. Ouch. Okay. Just gonna. All right. We gotta find her. What room? Hi, Angela. How are you? Where is Miss TP? I don't see her. Or at least my eyes are not seeing it. I'd like to connect with her directly. Oh, okay. So she might have zonked out. So that's fine. So good. That's actually good if she has it. But I'm just gonna give her something quick. Okay, so there's migraines, headaches, bad headaches, migraines. All right, so we're gonna do some SP on you. You're gonna need your magnet. And we're going to do both sides, and it's the stomach. So you're going to go and use, start with the left and go to the right, the stomach point, which is right there, just before the curve. Make sure you use magnet and then deeply rub 30 times. And then let's see where else we're going to go for this headache. Oh, you had a rough time with those energies too. There's an auto response going on, they said. No, I don't want to go against. The body is saying, no, I don't want to go against. So that's your focus. You're going to use your magnet on both sides, and you are going to go back to and do the stomach one more time with that. Oh, so sorry to hear that, Miss Angela. And then you are going to then hold R1D for I can't behave that way. But at the same time, you are also going to do use a magnet on the right side and that of the lung. So on the right, and you're going to go to the, wow, there's an interference. I know this is the lung point. Yeah, it's just bizarre. It just said there's I don't know if it's interference from the planet or what. Right hand, lung, use your magnet, and then deeply rub 30 times. And then we'll have to do a physiology because the body is overspinning. Because it's going, this is what I have to do. I have to be in fail. But at the same time, it says she's got also, I'm okay with failing. Okay. All right. So now I'm going to look to see where hers is. Hers is also in the reproductive system because of being female. You're going to make sure that you go down to the lower part of your spine and you start tapping. Which one do you want? It is L3 and L5. Okay, so you got 3 and 5 right at the waist and just above. And hold your forehead, rub those points, because the physiology it's not just even wobbling. It is like, that's why you have a headache, because it's hitting, from what I can see, it's CLIVUS, and it's the bone right at the very top where C1 is. And we're going to have you focus on CLIVUS, and you're going to go, I'm okay with God, because I feel like there's a part of you that's like, no, I'm not okay with God. So you have a kind of an incongruence there. So with that, I want you to, where do you want her to go? Okay. Which is there. So we're going to have you go, that phrase, I'm okay with God. And you're going to start with the very top of where your head connects. Okay. And then make sure you put your hand here. Okay. And then tap that. Then you're going to go down to T1 and then 5 and 9. So this is what it will look like. The very top, so tapping there, and then you're going to go down to T1, and then you'll go down to 5, which is right here, and then 9, which is right here. And get in there and tap it again. And that's for Miss Theresa. Hopefully it gets it down. So you're having a physical thing and understanding, you were told by a doctor that there's something wrong. Is that what I got? Well, there's a lot of incongruencies because you've had some loved ones that were lost. And I want you to see, if I said to you, God is okay with me. And if I were to look at this and with your permission, can I check? Because, and I have to wait for her to say yes if she wants me to check any further. But what's happening is the body, the physiology is shaking so bad that not just from her diagnosis, but is shaking so bad that from the loss of her loved ones, that the body cannot, if the physiology is incongruent, then it can't really help maintain the body to be healthy. Again, I can't tell with YouTube if the little red line is all the way to the end or if she's like 10 minutes behind or what. So I'll have to wait. Again, I can't give her really any permission. She has to give me permission. Again, the phrase is God is okay with me. If you feel like in a way, because I have a feeling that it's not. You really are incongruent thinking, oh my God, God doesn't love me or something. And that's not true, but the body is going to hold this. And it's like, why would God take my baby away? Why would, and then, oh, I've done this and therefore God doesn't love me. Okay, so if I take the mirror and I look and I would check and I said, okay, so from the physiology for Angela, it's God is okay with me, and it's not. She's incongruent, and so she has these couple experience, and so this is where I would tell her to put her hand on her forehead and then get a hairbrush and start to take that phrase, God, God is okay with me, and she needs to go to her kidneys, which is in the spine, which is to help her balance, which is to do T1. You can tap that with your own hand, T1, and you think that phrase, one hand here, the other tap, and then you're going to go down and T5, which is right there. So your bra line's here, I think, and then so you got T5, and then you want to go T8, which is right in here. Start to tap because breathing in and out, nice 3 breaths like this. Then move to the next one. And if you can't reach it, this is why we say hairbrush or something sturdy. And then 3 times in and out, and then go to the next one. Your physiology, God wants to be there. God can't do anything until you let them. But if you are having a lot of mixed programs and anxiety, it can make a big difference. Okay, there's a lot of grief, a lot of unresolved stories that your body needs and to take care of. Okay. And yeah, being scared, yeah, because you don't have that connection. You don't have that. See, I've been doing this a long time. I know that I can reverse a lot of things. And it's the belief that you can heal. It's the belief that, and it's not just the belief. You have to get the physiology. So that means you need to go in and do something physical. You need to remove the emotions. You need to take and balance the shock. You need to, because you need to balance yourself. All right. And I'm holding space that you're whole. You feel lost. I get it. Now, with this, I'll give you one more point. You said I feel lost. And then, so I want you to measure that, and then you're holding left wrist, first position, nice and soft. Okay. Make sure you, when you touch this thumb part, you're like, right here's the pad. Okay. Not here, but more on the pad. So when you're holding soft here, you can push deep here if necessary, you know, and then you do this. But feel the lost, feel the scared, feel the vulnerable, feel that you feel abandoned and all alone, and that your efforts are unreceived, you know. So just really get in, and you might have to do them individually, the words I just used, and then measure them, and then hold a lot of this point, okay? All right. Anybody else? Let me just double check this. Okay, that's good there. And then check that one. Okay. Let's see, that's a belief system. You're in the hellish mindset. There's hell, heaven and hell are states of mind. And you're in the hellish mindset. And you've had many roads that led you and gifts that spirit has given you. And you have had a lot of experiences in life that pull you from being connected and where the healing can be. You do belong, but notice what drives you into that pulls you away from belonging, that pulls you away from these opportunities. And there's a part of you that goes into very pessimistic part of you, and you don't realize you're this program. So you need to have a healthy environment. And even if your environment's unhealthy, you still can put in earbuds, listen to all my shows, like them, subscribe, make comments. But you can surround yourself. Get rid of the things that are nasty. If the news is getting to you, then just put your earplugs in or turn it off or whatever you're going to do. But tune in. You have different ways to support yourself to get back to health. Okay. I love you and you're welcome. All right, guys. Thank you so much for today. And I'm going to get going. And well, as soon as I figure out, guess what I didn't do? I didn't record. Thank goodness it is on YouTube. All right, just remember, you are already blessed, okay? You're already whole. So stay blessed and happy healing.